This is Jackie, and I'm here with Jesse of Stick to Your Guns at Virginia Beach Warped Tour. How you doing so far? How's your day? You're staying cool in here, I hope.
Very cool. I don't think I'm leaving, actually.
It's a good bribe. Keep you in here a little bit longer. Enjoy the air conditioning. It's probably about 95, literally 95 degrees outside. And that's sort of the one sharp double-edged sword about Warped Tour, that you have to deal with the weather, but you kind of knew that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Southern California, so it's warm there all the time, which I like. But I think me as an individual, I resonate with cold places. I've been living in Montreal for the last 5 years. I just moved back to Los Angeles, and it's been an adjustment. But I love Montreal. The winters get maybe a little too cold, like -40 is a bit much, yeah. But it's one of the best places. It's the top 3 favorite cities in the world. So hopefully I'll head back there someday.
You might be one of those like retirees that vacations in the summer and the winter. You know, just kind of you'll just have a nice steady weather the whole year. That might work. So Stick to Your Guns have been together for over 15 years. What do you attribute to your band's longevity?
Breathing, taking a breath. We've had this kind of slow climb, and I think when I was a younger person, I hated it. I just wanted, you know what I mean? I felt like all of our peers, everybody else was like at a different level than ours. But then I realized also the older I get, that's just more of my own perception that's obviously incorrect. But yeah, that's I've seen so many bands just, you know what I mean? And that's devastating. And, so I'm glad that we've been able to stay consistent and just have this kind of slow, steady, long career in doing this.
I think particularly in this scene, you do get a lot of bands that, they might hit big real quick, but then it's gone. And
Right.
to have that longevity is definitely a goal, I would think, for most bands.
Absolutely. And I think, too, like the fact that we took everything so slow, we were able to, if we saw a moment where it was like, oh, this isn't working, we were able to correct because it's moving so slow. So we're like, okay, well, let's correct and try something new. And you know what I mean? There's been a lot of ups and downs to our band for sure. There's been many times where we almost broke up, but you kind of push through that because especially with any scene, any music scene, there's phases, and sometimes you'll release a record and it'll be in, and then sometimes you'll release a record and it won't be the thing that's in. But I feel like we've been pretty good at being able to see what's happening around us and not necessarily change our sound due to that, but to definitely, to be more smart about our decision making.
Shockingly, with age really does come wisdom. It's not a bad thing. It's a little scary other than that, but at least you learn from things, and that's always good.
No, absolutely. And when I was younger, my favorite teacher in the world was my music teacher, the only teacher I ever listened to, and she was like, "You don't know shit. Just wait till you're older." And I'd be like, "Hey, I know," and then she's right. I don't know. I didn't know a damn thing.
As a high school teacher, I can attest, you don't know shit. You don't. Anyway.
I still don't.
No.
I'm learning
Likewise.
I learned how to shut my mouth a little bit and sit down and listen.
Boy, is that an important lesson to learn,
Yeah.
too.
And I'm learning it at 30. So, it's not too late.
There is hope. There is hope. Awesome. Speaking of sort of a learning process, how has the band's sound evolved since For What It's Worth?
Oh, boy. Well, I think it's just evolved in the sense of I was a 15-year-old kid when that record was written, and and I turned 30 in November, and so I think it's just matured as I have as well, and I'm the only original member from that time, and I just honed in on things that I liked a little bit more, and then also just trying to decide, okay, what kind of band are we, right? Because we're definitely a band where we are message based, and so you have to kind of decide as well. The music is the vessel for that, and it's equally as important. So you have to decide, okay, well, how do you want your message to be conveyed, in what tone or what mood or whatever. And I think all that comes as you get older. You know what I mean? And then instead of just like worrying about like, oh well, is it heavy enough, or is it this enough? Is it that enough? You kind of just go like, this is the song. You know what I mean? Like this is what it is. You don't really care how it's going to be perceived as long as it triggers a reaction within you, then I think that you're on the right track.
Right on. I think 2016 we were so looking forward to being over.
Right.
And then it was over, and we were like, oh, shit. How can music be a way for us to deal with, no matter which side of the aisle you may fall on,
Right.
deal with the shit that we are dealing with now?
Well, definitely in this music, I think that it's an outlet for those kinds of angers and frustrations that we deal with, whether it be in a social climate or an obvious political climate that we're in. And what a scary time to be a young person to have to deal with this kind of thing, or any person for that matter. But and I think we have a new record coming out at the end of this year, and a lot of people are assuming the things that we're going to speak about. But actually, without giving too many details, this new record has been completely, every song has been inspired by a conversation I've had with my mother. And, a lot of the things that she says, because she had a huge transformation too. We grew up in Orange County, and in Orange County is generally a very right-leaning place, and it's a place where there's a lot of uh, just a lot of conservative types of people that live there, and her family is definitely one of those types of families, and so she grew up with that kind of mindset. And when I show up at the family functions with a nose piercing and blue hair and things like that, I was very embarrassing for her. So we had a lot of issues growing up, and now that she grew up and she always tells me all the time, she's almost 70 years old, and she's like, I'm still learning. I didn't figure it out. I had to start all over again, and I realized that you were right and I was wrong. And but she's now a complete hippie, and she says, well, look, because in the last 2 years of my life has been one of the most challenging times of my life, and I've gone through a lot of things. And she says, well, Jesse, all the things that happen inside of us are reflected out into the world. So look at what's happening out in the world. That's a reflection of what's happening inside of you. And that was very kind of eye-opening and inspiring for me, because it's just like, well, obviously, like, the world's in such disarray right now, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm in also such disarray. So the next record is definitely it's a very reflective of myself and the things that I can do, because that's all we have control over, right? Is our own reactions and our own actions and our own responses to things. So learning how to control that, and learning how to be an active member of a society that you want to participate in, instead of constantly resisting a society that already exists, and asking yourself what you can do to change the world, I guess. Because a lot of people say, because we aren't, as a band, aren't huge fans of capitalism, and a lot of people say, well, you exist in how'd you buy those shoes? And it's like, well, you know what I mean? Like, I understand, yeah, we're in a capitalist system. Like, we're not going to go live in the woods, and you know what I mean? That's just, I don't think it's fair to say that kind of thing. It's like telling a prisoner they can never dream of being free because they're in a prison. And I think that there can be another way, but there has to be able to be a discussion between all of the different types of people who think different things. And I think that's the most challenging part right now, is having that open discussion.
Sounds like your mom is a pretty wise lady. So when we talk about, with age comes wisdom, I think she definitely is. Do we have any information that you can release about the new album? Title, due date, first single? Nothing. He's got nothing. He's like, not allowed to speak about it. Okay, then I won't go there. What are some of the highlights of Warped Tour so far for you this year?
I think the highlight for me is the fact that I'm having fun.
There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes simplicity, go for that.
Absolutely. I came into, we've done it. We did it in 2008 for 2 weeks, and then we did it in 2013, the whole tour. And I didn't enjoy it either time. And I understand it's such a great opportunity for your band, and that's why I did it. And so when we got offered to do it again this year, I was just like, my immediate reaction was, no. Fine, if you guys want to do it, find somebody else. I'm not. The answer is no, not doing it. And then, of course, I got talked into it, but
but now you're glad you did.
And I am. I'm very glad, and I think that maybe that's, again, another age thing, and being a little bit more mature. Me and large groups of people and events like that, it's not. I don't like it. and so you mix heat with a lot of people. I'm just like, I get very like, ugh. I value alone time, and I value space and things like that, and you don't get a lot of those things on tour as it is, and then this tour especially. But I'm kind of learning. It's kind of bringing me out of my shell a little bit, which is nice. I really am enjoying it. We have so many friends, Silent Planet and Hatebreed and Sick of It All, and Being as an Ocean and Counterparts and Knocked Loose and all the, amazing friends, and so it's been a blast.
That's good. And it sounds like you're headed to the UK next.
Yeah, we do UK and Europe. Yeah. With Silent Planet. Yeah, exactly. And Being as an Ocean. So that'll be a cool headliner in support of our new record.
So this is just a warm up. You're fine.
Exactly. Just warming up.
Well, stay tuned for much more from Stick to Your Guns. They are definitely warming up for the rest of 2017. This is Jackie, thanks to Chorus FM and One Avenue.